I needed a place to keep my brushes because there was just not enough room here. So the first mod I made was this. These are tubes from some type of a packing thing we've got. This is just mat board, doubled piece of thin plywood cut out to match the side here, and then two plugs so it can't fall down. And then I've got plenty of room. If you want to make it straight, you can do that. So if you want to keep your photos or drawings close at hand, this setup is just a regular clamp, a little piece of masonite. You can adjust however high you want it, and of course just paper clips. A pet peeve of mine has always been that this lip hangs over and it drops down in here. Now you do have 1/8 of an inch on your framing all the way around. It's just I would rather keep the colors consistent. All this is a hardware foot for a chair. Any type of device will work for that. And then on the bottom is the same issue, but in this case it's pretty bad because the art ends up being way down here, a big no-no. So this is just a scrap piece of frame, and this is a little piece of packing that raises the art up enough to get a paintbrush in it. It fixes the same issue we had up here on the top, because I don't care if I get this piece of packing wet, or even the piece of frame that's raising this up a little bit. The other big modification I made was I added this shelf, and the idea there was to have a place just to put stuff. And the thing you got to be careful though of is how big a shelf you make, because if it gets too far out you won't be able to get close enough to paint. But this has been really helpful. You can kind of get an idea how big it is. And that's just held in place by wing nuts, bolts and wing nuts that are here, here, and here. And that works out real well. Now, of course, when you, if you were going to store your easel, you got to take all this off. This particular easel works better on the tall pieces you might be doing. I usually don't do real large ones, but this would be the one to go to. This is my favorite easel. I can put large things on it, and I can also put these the smaller ones. And it's just better made, so it's easier to make adjustments. Things don't stick. There's none of that issue. You might notice I put some rails around here. This is just a shish kebab stick that's just glued on there. I was losing my pencils and sometimes a loaded brush, so I put that around it. This is all found material. I don't have hardly any money in this at all. The thing you need to, if you're going to make one of these, you can use PVC pipe, 3/4 inch, but get the thin wall, because you don't need the thick wall. There's no pressure on this thing, and or any other cylinder tube. They're about, like I said, it's about 3/4 in diameter. Bigger is probably better. Smaller is not. These don't serve a function. It's just I fasten things onto it. Like I said, this is mat board, so it's all found materials. Now this painting's about 20 inches wide, I believe, but you can see the apparatus there still works, and I got another inch or two that it could go over. Of course, you can resolve that by just making this longer, but I rarely paint anything bigger than this, whether it's this orientation or the other. And you could even You can even hide them if you want, if you're painting a real wide one. So, but it's, I built this for me, for what I do, not for what other people do, but I wanted to point it out because it has been a very helpful little thing. See if we can drop this thing. This one is the inexpensive one that I got from one of those online places, and it's a pain. So I need to drop that. So I needed to drop this because I want to show what happened when I want to show what happened when we put on the brush apparatus. And you can see there's a gap, right? You can see that gap, and it slopes. So until I build another one of these specifically for this this easel, I have to do something like that. Drop stuff on the floor. If you don't drop anything on the floor, you're not having fun. I put this piece of wood on just to keep things from falling off, and then decided later I wanted to do the to add this shelf. Now this one's quite a bit bigger than the other one. It's about 13 inches from here to there, and I found that especially if you're sitting, that's too far. You're too far away. Now I know the brushes are big and all that, so you can easily stand out here and do that stuff, but it is a problem that way, and there's a strength issue. I don't like that. So I can take up some of it by tightening that knob there, but you don't need to spend a lot of money furnishing your studio. This particular table is actually a bubblegum machine. That's what the base of it is. The top is the bottom of a display that was broken, and then a little bit of paint. I don't remember where this heavy plastic box, for lack of a better term, came from, but I've been using it for years. Whenever we go for a walk in the park someplace, I always bring my first aid kit. It helps soothe the savage soul. And what do we have here? Well, and of course this is the Winsor & Newton field kit for your watercolors. That's really all you need, but we do like to add a little bit to it. We have a small brush that comes with it, but these are a lot nicer. And they just came from the big A, but for the little bit that we're using them, it doesn't matter that much. A little bit of extra water here, and in this we've got all of the drawing pens and pencils that we need. We've got a small sketch pad. We use this when we travel quite a bit too. And I got a little bit bigger one because it's just easier to use that sometimes. Need more space. Walking in the park someplace, that type of thing. These don't have to be perfect, it's just the idea. This was a huge tree that's overhanging Lake Tarpon. And then these are all what's going to come later. Got a list of what colors are in my kit here. Don't really need them. I do everything just on the fly. Some plastic credit cards, an eraser. I'll have several different kinds of pencils. And yeah, this is probably too much stuff. But I've gotten used to it, and it's easily spread out on a picnic table or set on the ground by a log. And then I just pack it up and leave. I've got everything we need.